Hello everyone and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick and this is my daily ramble. I hope you're all well. As always, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and drop a like on the video because it does really help us. As you know, we're sponsored by the Kent and Sussex Tea and Coffee Company. If you like your tea and your coffee, who don't like tea and coffee? Head over to their website, you'll find it in the description. Use our discount code Claret15, get yourself a nice juicy discount. Okay, we're going to talk about the Qataris again. As we all know, Man United, who are a club that need Qatari level investment. They need it to satisfy the appetites of their worldwide fan base and the brand that they are. You know, they've been a complete flop, a failure for the last 10 years. Post Alex Ferguson, they have really, you know, by their recent standards. They needed that type of investment, and the Glazers have dicked around. They've pushed back. The Qataris wanted to buy them. They offered way over the asking price as well for 100% ownership. They've pushed back, and Jim Ratcliffe, who also wanted to be 100% owner, and would have been my preference, even though he's a Man United fan, for owner at West Ham, he's bought 25% of the club. So apparently the Glazers are stepping back. Jim Ratcliffe's going to take over the running of the club from a football perspective. But how much impact can he have? We know they're drowning in debt. We know that they needed this type of investment to clear those debts, to kind of get them going again. I'm not too sure this is going to have any instant impact. You know, this isn't anything like when, if Jim Ratcliffe had have bought them 100% of the club, you'd have been thinking, Jesus, this guy's worth an absolute fortune. His company's worth like 60 billion. This Man United are back, you know. When Saudi bought the Newcastle, we all said the same thing. We was like, you know, they're going to be on the map very, very quickly, probably challenging for a Premier League very, very soon. Be in the Champions League. They've done it in 2 years. But with what this 25% ownership model that Ratcliffe's got at Man United, you look at that and you think, looks like a long-term thing. So they're going to be working towards playing catch-up. They're already playing catch-up on, 7 teams in the Premier League? That's what I think. And these teams aren't going to stand still. So if they've got like a 2-year, 3-year model, they might work throughout the next few years to catch up to where these other teams are, but they're not going to stand still either. They're just going to keep on going. So I don't think this is ideal for Man United. I'm not saying they'll never be back, but this isn't a deal that I don't think any of them wanted. But the Qataris do want a piece of the Premier League pie. We know this. And we've long been linked with a Qatari bid. You know, there are several entities that have been interested and are still interested in buying West Ham. But now the Qataris, I believe, will probably turn their attention to West Ham. We've heard in the press recently that Liverpool, you know, FSG, Liverpool are off the market. You know, Tottenham are not selling anymore. So I think we're the next big thing. You can get us for a relatively bargain basement price of around about 800 million. I think it's the obvious purchase. We're in London. We know that, you know, it's not directly the same people or the same organisation, but Qatari DR own an awful lot of property in and around the London Stadium on that sort of Stratford Olympic development site. And there's a reason why we've been linked with them for quite some time. So I would expect, if and when we are about to sell, the Qataris to be involved in that. And I think if they're involved in it, if they take the same aggressive tact as they did when they was trying to buy Man United, they'll probably succeed, because they did kind of blow Jim Ratcliffe out of the water. They did, you know, that's what they'll do. They'll blow the opposition bidders out of the water because they can afford to do so. So Sullivan and Kretinsky and co may end up getting upwards of a billion for West Ham. Who knows? There must be a reason why the Glazers have kind of opted to stay involved, a reason why FSG are looking at kind of retaining Liverpool now, and also Tottenham, you know, Arsenal, Aston Villa, you know, these clubs are not for sale. And the rumour is that it's because they're forecasting that there's going to be an influx of cash, like there isn't already enough money in the Premier League, but they're anticipating that in the next 3-4 years there's going to be I don't know, a huge TV deal. I mean, we know that the law that's out there at the moment, where you can't broadcast 3 p.m. games on a Saturday, that's soon to be lifted. So maybe there's some sort of pay-per-view option where, you know, you're going to have 3 p.m. games back, but, you know, clubs can sell season tickets or sell pay-per-view for Premier League games. That's what I've read. So it could be that they're hanging on off the back of that, because you can imagine the amount of money that will be involved if that does get passed. So there is a reason why these owners are choosing, these owners that were willing to sell now kind of want to stick around. Even the Glazers, who are just saying, yeah, all right, you run the club, we'll own 75% of it, and we'll just sit back and wait for the money to roll in. That's kind of what they're choosing to do. So I don't think it's not going to be the same for Sullivan. It's not. I mean, he isn't the most forward-thinking of men, is he? He got out of the porn industry when the internet came along because he thought it'd be the end of it. So he'll probably bail out of West Ham just as things really start getting lucrative in the Premier League. But like, he really cares? Does he care? I don't think he does. He's an old bloke now. He's made his money. He's going to make an absolute fortune out of West Ham, which was always the plan. When they bought West Ham, it was an investment. It was to fatten it up, sell it on, and live happily ever after. Sailing the high seas with bouncy boobs, as I've said several times before. That's what he wants to do. And you know what? As long as he's out of West Ham, I don't really care. It's not a manhunt on Sullivan and co anymore, because if we're all being honest with ourselves, in the last 4 years at least, we have been run a lot better. We've been run better. We're starting to be run like a proper club. I still can't accept that Tim Stuyton, who was the final piece of this puzzle, is a Sullivan hire, but that will be proven or disproven throughout the course of time when we establish whether or not there are new owners and whether we are going to sell, which I think that we are. As soon as that estate, the Gold estate, is out of probate and we're free to sell, I think you'll start seeing some movement. I really do. Now, look, we had a discussion on this on the Sunday night show, because it's a moral dilemma for an awful lot of fans, for most fans, I would say, Middle Eastern investment. And although there's a part of us all that would love to be the biggest team in London, because we're sick of smug Tottenham and Arsenal fans treating us like poor relations, and it would be good to get one over on them. We're also quite protective over what West Ham are. We aren't those type of supporters. We didn't support West Ham because we wanted success or trophies. We're not glory hunters. We support them because it's kind of deeper ingrained in a West Ham fan. It's a family thing. It's a family connection, and we're quite protective over that as well. And that would probably be impacted in the long term. We'd attract a different type of fan, your common fan, if you like, that basically just hones in on the latest successful team, buys a shirt, becomes a West Ham fan, and then when things go bad, they'll start supporting someone else. They're not really fans of teams. They're just fans of football, hangers on, I suppose. And that's the type of thing that you will attract, and probably what we'll be targeting as well, because I think there's a big market for fans like that, but a huge market of football fans as opposed to football supporters of football teams or clubs. So that'll be interesting. John mentioned that he'd heard a podcast or he'd spoken to a few Man City fans that all had the same opinion, that they don't feel the same connection with Man City as they once did, because it's just different. It's changed. So whilst it's great to have that success and everything else, there's always a price to pay. I think you've got to, in exchange for that success, you've got to, a piece of your soul will disappear as well. But I do think it's coming to West Ham. I do. I don't think there's anything that you can do to stop it. I don't, unless, because if it's not the Qataris, it will be someone else. I do think that we're primed and ready to be bought, especially because we are being well run now. We are a lucrative club at the moment. We make a lot of money, so even from just a business perspective, we're a worthwhile purchase. And like I said before, we're in London, we're in prime position, so it will happen. If the owners want to sell, we'll get sold. Someone will buy us. It's down to what would you want, because it's going to have to be someone with big money, proper money. And there aren't that many people. There aren't that many Brits, for instance, that have got the type of money that you need to help you compete or improve on what we are at the minute. You need serious money. So, like I say, you've got these state-owned clubs already with Man City and Newcastle. So it's probably, unfortunately, the only route that you can take if you really do want to challenge. So it does look as though Man United are now officially off. Well, they are officially off the table. As are Liverpool, as are Tottenham, who are two clubs that the Qataris were also rumoured to be looking at as well. So you would imagine that leaves the path clear for a bid on West Ham. So yeah, exciting times, scary times, confusing times. Don't really know what to think. Obviously, nothing is confirmed, but look, there is no smoke without fire. This rumour's been burning for quite some time now. I'll be surprised. Listen, if the Gold Estate gets cleared from probate, and then we hang on to the club for the next year, then then great. I just don't think that's going to happen. I still think that our early theory, which is all it was that Tim Steidten has been placed at West Ham by potential new owners to oversee the business until a transaction's made. I still kind of believe in that, because I still can't believe that Tim Steidten was a Sullivan hire. If he was, then fair play to Sullivan. Maybe he brought him in because we are selling the club and he wanted to make sure that the business was run to make us as attractive as possible for new owners. Maybe he has done that. I don't know. I don't see it. But look, Leopards can they change their spots? I don't think so. He's one of the most frustrating guys ever, Sullivan, isn't he? So I don't think that he would relinquish that much power to someone willingly, to be quite honest. But yeah, time will tell, and not too much more time, I don't think. I think we're going to find out very, very soon. What would your thoughts be? I know we've spoken about it before, but are you feeling any different now on the potential of a Qatari takeover? Would you kind of, do you think it would be a short-lived bubble where we'd be overexcited and then reality would hit? And as I'm sure it will with Newcastle, we spoke about it last night. It was great what Newcastle have done and what they've been doing for the first few years. They've still got that Newcastle heart and soul. When they beat PSG, two Geordie boys scored the goals. Not going to be like that forever, though, is it? At some point, that identity will be stripped out, and those players will all be replaced with the best players from around the world. Probably none of which will originate from Newcastle. So that connection will no longer be there. Is that important? Is that important anymore? I don't know. I don't know really. It's a lot to process. But yeah, just a quick update on that. I've got another video coming out tomorrow for you that was already pre-recorded over the weekend with Gary, so I'm going to release that on Tuesday. But let me know your thoughts on this anyway. Exciting times, as I said before, but it's kind of it's never easy, this type of thing. There is definitely a moral standpoint from this, and it doesn't sit brilliantly with me either. But can you stand in the way of progress? Money does always seem to win, doesn't it? So look, that's it from me anyway. I'll speak to you all soon. Gab your heads.